This podcast, including all discussions and examples, is for informational purposes only and does not constitute professional advice. The views expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any government agency or company. Today, we sit down with Kyle Roelofs, Vice President at Bren-Tronics, discussing how next-gen batteries are strengthening mission success and energy resilience across the defense world. This is From the Dive Shop.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to From the Dive Shop, the ADS podcast about all things defense. I am Jen Weir-Edwards.
Hey, and I'm Patrick Shipp, and want to welcome with us today Kyle Roelofs from Bren-Tronics. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Looking forward to diving in.
Oh, Kyle.
Beautiful. Been waiting like 6 months for that. Kyle, hey, thanks a lot, man. So you've been working with Bren-Tronics and ADS now for about 14 years. Really happy to finally get you on the show. Talk to us a little bit about Bren-Tronics, what you all do. We hear a little bit about you and your backstory and how you got into this defense space. And we'll talk a little bit more, about what the future of battery and power technology looks like. So, Jen, what do you think? How should we get Kyle started today?
I want to hear how Kyle got here today.
All right. Great story.
And go way back.
Okay.
Great story, but
no, I just mean here.
Back.
I just mean here to the studio. Did you take an Uber?
No, we had Liz Smith dropped us off before she was going to Alaska. So,
right.
Great
Shout
supplier management. You guys have here. Excellent. So I'm at Bren-Tronics for 21 years. I had been working for a company before that called Zero Manufacturing, and we had a product that we sold to Bren-Tronics. And at one point, it was really crappy. So I was continually getting calls by our director of operations, who became our CEO, Cy Fung, and he would call and complain about the crappy product. It was just a bad weld, but he didn't like it. So my wife would hear this guy screaming at me on the phone, and she didn't like it. So she heard the name Bren-Tronics and Cy. And at one point, I just finished my MBA, and I was looking for another job. And she saw an ad in the Penny Saver for clerical help wanted.
The
at
Penny Saver.
The Penny Saver. Do you guys have that down here?
We don't anymore because it's the 21st century. But
that's true.
But I actually do remember the Penny
Yes.
Saver because I found a job in the Penny Saver as well back in the early 1600s. Go ahead.
I'm here because of the Penny Saver. So shout out to the Penny Saver.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
And
this podcast brought to you by the Penny Saver.
We could probably get $5 for that. It's a penny, right? So she said, "Isn't Bren-Tronics the place where that guy's always yelling at you?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "They're looking for clerical help. So just send them a resume," which I did, a cold call. Said, "Hey, I know Cy and I know all you quality people because I'm in there all the time." And I got an interview, and they hired me as application engineer, just doing sales. And again, no engineering experience here. So to our engineering department, I'm not an engineer, but did every job since then. So all sales, contracts, and now business development.
So before you started your illustrious career as a non-engineer, and I know we're going to talk about Bren-Tronics a lot because you're a really important partner to us. The technology you guys bring is incredible, and I'm excited to hear about it. But a little birdie told me that you had an interesting job or two before you ever even went to Bren-Tronics. It was while you were still getting your MBA, I think, maybe?
So it was actually right after college. I was living in Manhattan and said, "Hey, let's give this acting thing a shot. Can't be that hard.
Glorious.
It's not. It doesn't look that difficult." So
I mean, everybody's so successful at it, right?
We had Rob Riggle at Warrior East.
Yes.
And Rob talked about it.
Right.
He talked about how easy acting was.
Yes, that's
if you
exactly
could do it.
what he
if
said.
you can do it, yeah.
Yeah.
I obviously couldn't do
And
it.
then he
'cause I'm
joined the
sitting
Marines.
Here. Right.
He was like, well, that could be easier.
Yes. So living in Manhattan, a lot of opportunities to be an extra. The Village Voice would publish opportunities for you to go and
Not the
get
Penny Saver?
$75. No, this is actually a real newspaper. And so I did a whole bunch of TV episodes as an extra, no speaking, Sex in the City, and I did some movies. I met a good buddy of mine during a Woody Allen movie, Sweet and Low Down. So it was like a year and a half of just extra stuff. Where it didn't affect my day job, but gave it a shot. It was pretty cool. Glad I did it, and haven't tried any acting since then.
That's disappointing because I think that you'd be great. I would definitely come see a movie.
You're
with you in
you're
it.
the only actor at this table right
So
now.
I also heard, Patrick, that you have a little bit of an acting history yourself.
Oh, God, I've been waiting to tell this story
I love this story.
since about 15 minutes ago. Yeah. Yeah, so, right, like I was living in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I got the opportunity to be a extra on Dawson's Creek. And I'm telling you, one of the highlights of my life. Like one of the highlights about Michelle Williams, smoking.
So what I want to
Man,
know
it's
is, are
great.
you guys actually, like when you see people in the background as extras, are they actually talking to each other? Do you have a
Just
story?
moving our lips. We're just moving our lips.
Yes.
Outstanding.
So
Moving our
quiet
lips.
on set. So they're just walking around. Only the actors are talking. You're just moving your lips, and you're just not talking about anything. You're not talking about anything. Trying not to harass the person sitting across from you.
Get
But
thrown out.
you're engaging because you want to be someone to notice you like moving your lips in such a way that like, oh, that guy.
Yeah, you're
whoever
acting.
that is.
You're acting.
So people are like, vigorously talking without moving, just moving their lips.
Yeah.
So it's all about how you can do that. And then neither of us got discovered.
No,
Patrick,
no.
so.
As you see, I'm still here.
It's
Yeah.
a shame.
I'm not on
telling
TV.
you.
Exactly.
I mean,
On
I know
YouTube.
the camera loves you both. So, I mean, I think
love.
I have a feeling that both of your careers may be resurrected after this
Oh,
podcast.
snap.
Maybe it'll take a turn. Maybe
I think
it'll take
so.
a turn.
I think so. All right. So back to
Bren-Tronics.
Bren-Tronics.
So Kyle, Bren-Tronics has always been in the defense space.
Mm-hmm.
And can you tell us a little bit about that, about Bren-Tronics' history in that space?
Sure. So Bren-Tronics was founded by Leo Brenna. He's the Bren in Bren-Tronics, 1973. He had been working for a company that was moving to Florida, and he had a young family, didn't want to move, but he wanted to start his own business. So we did some research into what was being bought, and bought a lot routinely. And he narrowed it down to flashlights and batteries, and he actually flipped a coin. It's a crazy story. It's a true story of how Bren-Tronics started. He flipped a coin, and luckily it was batteries. We always say if it was flashlights, we probably wouldn't be sitting here having this discussion. And started out making primary one-time use batteries. We still make some of them today. Got into rechargeables, and then just literally 50 years of being a small business, veteran-owned. Leo passed about 10 years ago, 11 years ago. So we lost our veteran-owned status at that point. But a couple years ago, our CEO and the executive team was looking to grow. And how do you do that is either with a partnership or an acquisition. And one of my mentors actually made a recommendation for an M&A firm. We brought them on. They helped us to get ready for it. And then last July, we were acquired by Enersys. So it was strategic versus a PE. At the end of the day, there was a bunch of PE firms that were interested in Bren-Tronics, and we picked a strategic, and it's been really phenomenal ever since being a part of Enersys.
And that gives you a much greater bandwidth, right? Because Bren-Tronics' core batteries are focused on small power systems, like the original battery, the lipstick battery, that was for handheld radios for downed airmen, I think. And then you had like the 2590 that just goes into like every kind of radio out there. I mean, if you don't know the 2590, what have you been doing? And you guys got into some bigger power with the 6T.
Right.
But, this Enersys is going to really expand that, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And it's very funny you remember the lipstick battery. That's our first battery. It's called the lipstick battery because it looks like a tube of lipstick. It goes into a beacon for like
That's
downed
it. Yeah,
airmen.
the beacon, right?
And
right.
So we actually got to learn about Enersys recently, about the whole breadth and scope of what they do. So Enersys, we're building submarine batteries, space batteries, smart munitions, cars, race cars, transportation, a lot of lead acid motive. It's so cool that we always thought we had a pretty great product doing soldier worn and vehicle and directed energy, and we realized, wow, we're a small piece of this that's even cooler out there that they've been doing for many years as well.
So you've been in industry for 20-ish years, yes?
The power industry,
power industry for 20-ish years. What are some problems that over that period of time that you've been a part of solving that you think are just you're particularly proud of or were particularly interesting? What's been your experience with that?
A lot of it has been with ADS. So you guys expose us to customers and needs of the customers, and part of that is portable power, right? Especially during OIF and OEF, the ability to be out remotely, charge up your radios, charge up your PDAs and everything else. So we've done a lot of work with you guys and developed products because of it, our flex charger and lighter, stronger, more capable batteries. So I'd say that's been pretty cool. The fact that we've been able to do that, the market didn't exist, right? So we kind of helped to develop it and provide solutions for it. And we provided to basically every SOCOM unit has our power solutions at it.
The flex charger is really cool. Is that so? I mean, things evolve so quickly. Do you see things lose their relevancy? That's something that I was with one of our reps, and we went to meet with. I think it was medical treatment facility, and they were just blown away by the applications with that. And do you see the technology moving faster than we can keep up? What's happening there?
I don't think so. I think what you're doing is you're getting batteries that are going to charge quicker. So you have to develop chargers that will, again, put more power in a safe manner. More varieties of batteries out there. Like Dirk and the EOD team, they have a whole bunch of different batteries that they need. DeWalt's 2590s, radio. So for someone like them, their kit could be an ABC with a bunch of adapters or a flex charger that's dedicated to them. So again, driving a product towards a market and having those EOD experts that you have on your team that help us to shape the products that we're offering.
And you mentioned the ABC, and I think that was something that we, you remember, came out of a couple of requirements the Marine Corps had, but then you found it had a lot of application across all the services. Can you talk a little bit about that? Sure.
So the Army had a charger out for many years, the SPC, Soldier Portable Charger, or Suitcase Portable Charger if you're a Marine. They don't like to call anything soldier portable. And Marines came out with their own RFQ for a charger, a quicker, more powerful charger. We won that. It was a ABC Advanced Battery Charger back in 2016, I believe. And since then, we've shipped over 11,000 of the ABC chargers, including all the adapters.
Wow, man, that's a lot. And that's that was one of the first big projects that we worked on together. And I think a lot of that had to do with just the ability to get in front of customers and talk to them about, hey, what are some of those things that you're struggling with? And as the ABCs matured, you guys have built a lot of adapters for it and found other applications.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the nice thing about a charger like that is if you have a new battery that comes out, we can create a new adapter, and then we put the firmware on our website. So it's not a licensing. It's literally if you have an ABC, we're going to keep supporting it. And you can just go to our website, download it, get the new adapter and the new battery, and within 3 to 4 minutes, you're up and running.
That's great.
So I want to back up a little bit. Talk to me a little bit about your entry into the defense space. You don't have a defense background, a military background, and I know for me, I didn't have a military background, and it's culture shock. It's a completely different language. It's a completely different world. And then once you get into it, it's totally contagious and impossible not to love.
It is.
What was your experience like coming up the curve in that, and just talk a little about what you experienced?
For me, it's been a great experience. I can't imagine doing anything that's not tied to the warfighter, being able to meet with them. Jen, we are not military people, right? We never put the uniform on. We serve our own way. But it's so great to be able to do that, and probably all my friends are military. Most of them are. My son at one point was considering it. My wife was like, "This is your fault. You got this whole military, positivity." And I'm like, well, it is what it is. So yeah, very glad to support the military, and really through ADS. Again, it's not a plug to ADS. Is we can't do what we're doing without you. You guys have the outside team that allows us to multiply our sales force. And we follow your roadmap. You'll look at our team, our sales team. So we have Ken and Christian. They run the sales. And everyone that we brought on is coming from the military, prior TACP, prior Navy EOD. So we're following the same mindset that you have of bringing on outside people that wore the uniform and know what the user needs.
As a leader, what do you look for? Because just having that military background, we all know, isn't enough. You can have an amazing service career, and it doesn't translate to what we do when it comes to solving problems and developing business and things like that. So what do you look for?
Personality.
Okay.
Right? These are people that you're going to spend a lot of time with, and they're going to be selling your product, and they have a short window. They've got to be able to connect. So, personality, like Patrick here, you want to be able to make someone laugh and have a great story and engage with them. So when we're interviewing people, we already know right away they've got their credentials, right? You've got the military experience and everything else. Then it's just a video interview, right? We're not doing a lot of stuff in person for the interviews anymore. It's just meeting with them. How do you gel with them? Who do they know? Can someone vouch for them? We had that recently, Jen, when we were looking to hire someone, and you said, "Hey, I know that guy. I highly vouch for him. And if you can get him on your team, that'd be great for us and for you." And you were right. He's been a great addition to the team.
I'm glad to hear that.
Good work, Jen.
Adam, you owe me.
We do.
So you mentioned before, how you guys really do enjoy working with ADS. You modeled some of your hiring around some of our best practices. When you look at that ADS Bren-Tronics relationship, what are some of those things that really set ADS apart when it comes to dealing with customers, and what's some of that you're able to bring in with Bren-Tronics and take advantage of?
So like you mentioned, we've been working with ADS for 15 years. 2010, we started Navy Spa War. And ever since then, we've been able to do more and more with you. We very early on drank the ADS Kool-Aid. And a lot of it was
delicious Kool-Aid, by the way.
It is delicious.
So
yeah.
good.
And you don't pass from it like other people that make different Kool-Aid. So it's originally you go to the shows, right? If ADS has a show, you go to it and you encourage the ride-alongs. But really now it's strategic. When we plan our annual, what are we going to do this year? We align with you. We have meetings with you. So you have to have a strategy. It's what do we want to do in calendar 26 together? What do we want to go after? Where can you help? Where can we help? How do we bring on pieces of the puzzle? Recently EnerSys acquired Rebel. That's great products that we could bring on so we can strategize. How do we sell that? In EnerSys, how do we sell the EnerSys products? We talk about submarine batteries. Can ADS help to sell those batteries? So I think that's the big thing now. It's not just ride-alongs. It's not just shows. It's having a strategy that you can start and then follow through. Because anybody can go on a ride-along. It's closing it afterwards.
So you were the first, when I moved over to the sales role at ADS, 10 years ago, you were the first vendor I visited.
Nice.
So I'll never forget that, not solely because of the best Italian dinner that we ever have eaten in our lives.
Fish, man, that fish came out. It was like the whole fish.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what
I just remember sitting at that table and the table was just full of all of these fantastic meats and cheeses and pastas and it just kept coming and kept coming. And then that was the day I fell in love with Bren-Tronics.
Yes.
And while at
We'll
the beginning,
feed
you got me with the food, but I think the relationship that our teams have is really unique. And I like to highlight that, kind of a lot of what you were talking about, because a lot of the people that listen to our podcast are part of our, vendor ecosystem, whether they're partners yet or not. And one of the things I really love is, that whole concept that we heard about trust and reliability. That my feeling is if anyone on your team calls me and wants something, I'm like, yeah, we're just going to say yes because we've built that trust. Mm-hmm. And it's a pleasure to get to work with your team. So I just want to say thank you because you guys as an organization have always just been positive and connected and helpful, and everyone that you bring into your world just seems to continue that. So you guys do a really great job with the culture at Bren-Tronics. Where does that come from? How do you do that?
It all started with Leo, right? Leo established that, and then with Cy, and now with Doug running Bren-Tronics, it's a culture that we like to keep, mm-hmm. right? And culture is important because it's what makes people want to come back. It makes you want to do more, right? Anybody can show up 9 to 5, punch a clock, and then at 5:01 you're already in your car driving away. Like we want you to think, hey, you're doing something that's better for someone else. You're making someone else's life safer, better, and it's a great responsibility to be able to fill. So for us, it is the culture, right? And how do you achieve that? You start it and you just model it and you keep doing it. And you bring on people that you think are going to want to live in that culture. And if they don't, get them out as quickly as possible. If they're not going to fit, quick exit.
I love it.
Write that one down. Quick exit.
Quick exit.
Quick exit. Yeah. Quick
Who
exit.
was that for?
Don't worry about it.
I'm like, wait a minute.
So Kyle, as you all look to the future now with the EnerSys and Rebel acquisitions, what's the big strategy? What's the big picture for power in the future? We were talking a little earlier how it's starting to become, 10 years ago when I started, the hybrid power system, was like, oh, I don't know, it's the real thing. You're talking to people and they're like, we move at night. How are we going to charge batteries? I'm like, well, what are you going to do during the day? Put the charger out, charge them up, or they're just like, hey, we're happier just to carry batteries rather than to worry about some other ways to power our systems. But now I think we're starting to see that transition where there's more acceptance into the hybrid power system, more storage in a smaller footprint. What is Bren-Tronics? What's Kyle and Doug? Doug, what do you all see for this in the future?
So I think it's more hybridization, right? It's taking power from the vehicles, taking power from generators, stuff that's already in the field. The Rebel, Hyper is a hybridization unit, uses our 6T battery. You mentioned 2590 being everywhere. 6T is going to also do that. The lithium ion, we have a Hawker Ion X battery. So I think the hybridization, taking power, moving it around the field, but quickly, right? You don't have to set up a whole base camp and everything else. This could be lightweight expeditionary power. And I think that's really the future.
So that strikes me as the very near future.
Mm-hmm.
What cool mad scientist stuff is coming down the pike that we don't know about? Have
Yeah,
you
like
seen anything
lasers,
really
laser-wise. What do you know about
Sharks
lasers?
with lasers.
Yeah, sharks with lasers.
Sharks with lasers?
Yep.
I mean, you do have the submarine batteries now, so
We do.
I feel like it's
We
there.
do. Our directed energy is a big one for us, so we love directed energy. We also love modular stuff. So we'll make a battery that you can use across various platforms. You want more energy, you want 5, 10, 20 kilowatt hours, you just stack them up, in parallel. You want more voltage, we've got high voltage. So I think high voltage is another big area that's going to be very important, and we're well aligned for that, both with Bren-Tronics, Rebel, and Enersys. So we literally we're pulling from like 3 different companies now to have one end solution with you guys.
That's awesome. One thing I always like to ask on this, and we didn't talk about it, so you can have a second. What's your why? Why do you do this? What gets you up in the morning?
It's being able to have a seat at the table, right? Being able to be asked to be sitting here and talking about something that I enjoy. Supporting the warfighter. The guys and ladies that are out there doing it for us.
Keeping New York free.
I can't do anything about that. I have no control over that.
No, that's great, Kyle. Hey, listen, I really appreciate you taking some time. I know you've had a busy week down here in Virginia Beach and taking the time to come out and spend one extra night with us. Maybe Jen will take you out to dinner.
Nobody checked in with me.
Maybe
on
not.
that.
But
Anytime. I can't come up with what you gave us in New York, but anytime.
Appreciate it.
yeah, we definitely find you good restaurants around here. Maybe some J. Where did we go? The burgers. The burger and beer place. Oh, that was terrible. What was I thinking, man? Guy doesn't eat meat, doesn't drink beers. We did that with Braden. It was like his first big thing. I was like, hey, Braden, just find a place to eat. Find a place to eat and drink after we have our meeting. Braden's all freaked out. I'm like, that's cool. Kyle's cool, man. It'll be fine.
We went across the street.
Yeah, we'll walk
It
across
was
the street,
great.
man. It'll be
Yeah.
fine.
He just ate the bread, and he was thankful for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, bread,
That's right.
Bread and a hard cider. Yeah.
And the hard cider, that's right.
Oh, gosh. All right. This is going off the rails. Kyle, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. You did have to stay extra for some meetings, and I know you guys have a later flight, so thank you for making the adjustment to do this with us. I'm so excited for everyone to hear your story and hear all about the great things Bren-Tronics are doing, and I think that's all for us this time.
Yeah, it is. Hey, listen, if you're listening to this, please, throw a like in there and drop us some comments on what you want to hear more about. Tell us how much you like Kyle's story about being on Sex and the City.
Heck yeah.
And remember, like we say here at ADS, we're just always trying to keep our heads under the boat. And we'll see you next time on The Dive Shop.